it was this incredible kind of message to women that, women, going to new heights, I'd like to see that, women taking on the impossible, I'd like to see that. And it just stood for something so much more than an 8-week competition and a product. It stood for kind of a zeitgeist moment at that time in Australia that women, if you get them in the room and you give them the opportunity, they can actually take things to the next level. We always brought this back to the kind of core spirits of the historic game. So what made Australian football so amazing wasn't just that it was like an incredible sort of professional product or had phenomenal sort of broadcast components, or the in-stadium live experience was sharp. When you actually go back to it, that kind of grassroots authenticity, that sense of, community and rituals had sort of been lost a little bit in the men's product. We used the women's game to kind of bring that back. And I think that that meant that it wasn't a novelty of going to a women's football game. There was something really kind of special and romantic about that whole quality. It was about getting back to the roots of what football was. And I think because of that, people connected with it on a much longer basis than they would have. So this comes down to product design. We made it very, very clear that this was never going to be kind of the sharp stadium experience, and we didn't ever want it to match the men's game, because that's effectively saying that the men's game is the ultimate version of success, of which women have to catch up from. We want to flip that narrative and say that actually going back to the heart of football can allow people who haven't accessed the game before to actually jump in and experience it in a really special way. So I'd say that was a second thing. And then I think the third part was that we pushed this to be a 365 proposition. So the men's game takes up quite a significant amount of the year. The fixture is a 10-month season. It's pretty lengthy. It kind of dominates the mindset. And I think there was a big fear at the time that an 8-week competition would be a blip on the fixture. We always from the very beginning designed a 12-month plan of how content, kind of new series, new podcasts would be designed in and around it to keep the conversation of women's football alive, without relying solely on the 8-week competition. So we almost did things in reverse. Rather than having an amazing fixture to rely on, of which you amplify, we needed to have a great conversation about women's sport, of which one component of that was the game. So I think that's probably how we did it from a brand challenge perspective. I also relied pretty heavily on kind of external voices and external perspectives to kind of shape the narrative with me. We didn't look to traditional sport as the category that would win here. Like I went to different types of creative, different types of thinkers, people who were outside the world of sport to have commentary and be part of the conversation. And I think that again gave us a whole different type of awareness to completely different audiences that maybe had never tapped in with football before.